Phil. Scartail Jammer is through the pack for another 5 points. Lucky Phil struggling to get through. He's almost through. One more blocker. Lucky Phil is through for 4 points. Scartail called the jam. Looks as though it was a great jam for Scartail against Vanguard. Okay, still yet to get a roster for both teams. For what I can see from up here, it looks like it might be Mavericky against Drop Blair. Multiplayer block has been called on number 57 from Vanguard. Scartail get lead. Maverick is still struggling to get through on his initial pass. Being knocked to the inside. Mavericky stashes the star. He's looking for that pivot. Mavericky is still on initial. I believe it's dropped there, almost getting through second scoring pass. Number 3 of Vanguard has been sent to the bin. Dropplay has called the jam. It's a great start for Scartail here at the Velo today. Current score is 18 for Scartail against 3 for Vanguard. It's just over 25 minutes gone in the first half. Sorry, that's what's left of the game, of the half. Believe that is Wolfman jamming for Scartail. Scartail get lead again. Up against Faster Chief, it looks as though. Wolfman getting through with ease. Advantage is to Scartail with 4 blockers on the track, with only 3 Vanguard players at the stage. Faster Chief getting recycled to the back of the pack. Wolfman is struggling with that strong wall of Vanguard blockers here. Faster Chief is still on initial. Beautiful O by Vanguard, number 4. Scartail blocking today is very tight. Faster Chief finally just gets through on his initial pass, hoping to score some points coming around. Wolfman has been told to call the jam. Another successful jam to the Scartail. This brings the score to 26 for the Scartail to 3 Vanguard. A very different game to yesterday. Okay.
Do you have a fantastic view from up here at the Velodrome? We get to see the entirety of the track, but it also means that one of us can't run into the middle and sticky beak into what's going on with that official review.
Somebody did something wrong.
It's an official review to Vanguard, so I would hazard a guess that they are attempting to reverse the penalty on their jammer. They won't get lead back, but their jammer may not end up having to have that counted against them. It was really interesting how many points ended up going on the board for Scartel, considering that Vanguard had the lead for a huge chunk of that jam. You hearing that tune?
Yes.
It's a banger. I'd Shazam it, but I don't know what would happen.
I feel like I'm in a video game.
I know. It's like the air level of Mario.
Hey, jam is back on. I feel like we have Mavericky up against. I don't know who this Scartel jammer is.
I would say then that they were successful in their official review if they started with both jammers on the track.
Yes. Number 34 for Scartel, failure to perform penalty, getting sent to the bin. Vanguard have lead. Opportunity for them to catch up with points on the scoreboard.
Vanguard doing a really great job of reforming on the jammer in the middle of the pack, really slowing them down coming into turn one.
And Mavericky's through with his scoring pass. 4 points?
Just Incredible has just gone to the bin with hands that say, I respectfully disagree. A very experienced ref themselves. A lot of motion and speed happening over the far side of the track now. Vanguard come through, grabbing another 4 points.
4 much needed points in this half. They are catching up, slowly but surely.
Nice little jump, but they didn't want to risk it, so Scartel's jammer is being recycled to the back, being locked up there behind Honey Collider and the other Vanguard blockers.
Scartel still yet to get through on their initial.
But they are doing a very good job of dragging the Vanguard jammer back, really giving them a hard time getting through the pack around that apex. Really nice formation work. Resetting and squaring up, covering them line to line.
Scartel jammer has finally made it through on his initial. Vanguard call it before Scartel can call any points, score any points. Smart move.
The gap has closed significantly after that jam. Only 8 points in it. Scartel on 50 and Vanguard on 42. They'll be able to catch up in about 30 seconds.
I think so. It's a very close game. I'm liking this.
It's a good one.
Next up, jamming for Vanguard. It looks as though we have... Who is that?
We have such a good view of the track, but we're so far.
Looks as though it's Drop Blair for Scartel against Faster Chief for Vanguard.
Vanguard got lead, but in doing so, they did fall to the inside of the apex and got recycled behind that Scartel 3-wall, which we know is very, very strong. Look at them digging in, really making it hard for the jammer to get any sort of real momentum, but charging up all the way to the front of the pack. It's going to be any minute now. Some great bridging work done by Vanguard to keep action happening at the back of the pack as well.
Lead is still up for grabs.
Leads with Vanguard.
Oh, it is too. Sorry.
It's one of those heartbreaking ones where like lead got called, but you still had to recycle anyway. You're like, all that work again.
Fast Chief is not going to give up. 2-all is very strong. I'm glad he got to keep his lead. With
Yes. You work hard for it. I feel like if you have to do 2 initial passes, you should get like double lead or something like that. Not that this game needs to be any more complicated than it already is.
Really good opportunity for Vanguard to catch up and make the score even.
This pass should do it. They've got to get those last couple of points. Knock to the inside of the apex again. They've gone for it. It was safe to get up and go away. They've gotten those 4 points. They've closed the gap. Vanguard now pulled ahead by 2 points in this jam.
That's exciting.
It is.
Dropless still yet to get through on his initial pass.
Wonderful footwork there around the outside, getting past the last of Scartel's blockers.
Fast Chief calls the jam. That was a 0-point jam for the Scartel.
I see Scartel, but then it confuses me with the Penrith Skatel. And I'm like, oh, the Skatel. Nope. That's something else.
That's the roller rink, hey?
That's the roller rink,
yeah.
which I haven't been to, but I mean to. I mean, I would have, but Penrith. It's so far away. I mean, I travel for Derby, but, you know.
Just for a casual skate. You know.
Like, they won't even let you hit people.
No.
It's rude. They're like, get out of here.
We have a team timeout to the Scartel, no doubt, because Vanguard have taken the lead.
They were behind by 8 points at the start of the last jam. They pulled ahead by 7 in the same jam, which is really effective work from them. Really good one-on-one pushing. The Scartel have got really good defense, and they were stringing them out, but their one-on-one just didn't hold on to it at the end. It's a weird sentence. I think it made sense.
Yes, no, it definitely made sense.
Excellent. They've currently got a timeout to Skatel. Vanguard having a hustle on the track. They're either discussing something very, very important or they're trying to find out who's up to date with the latest Netflix shenanigans. It's like, have you finished Orange is the New Black yet? Oh, yeah, no. It was a bit of a letdown. Really?
Current score is 64 to Vanguard versus 50 to Scartel.
Scartel, it's been a while since Scartel have put any points on the board. They're probably going to want to change that if they're going to build up the momentum. And the Scartel blockers doing a great job covering that way. Oh, I wasn't sure.
Power Jam.
That's what I thought, but I couldn't put words to it. The jammer didn't cut the person who knocked them out, but clearly there was another skater there. The skater who knocked them out did also go out, but they didn't come back in behind all of the people who had position.
Good opportunity for Scartel here to catch up.
Gorgeous retro whip there. Scartel opting to start with a power start in the next jam. Not a bad idea. They've got a very powerful set of blockers. If all of those blockers go on the offense and really shut down the Vanguard's defense, this could be a great opportunity for Scartel to get back into the swing of the game. Not that they were ever really out of it.
No.
You could sort of see it. Really having to pay attention to who they've passed and how they are clear of the pack, picking up. At the edge of the engagement zone, very lucky to not get called for an out of play hit there. That would have been quite borderline, I think.
And Scartel take the lead.
They really capitalized on that power jam situation with some amazing coordinated assisting, really wrapping up Vanguard. I think I would have loved to have seen the jammer come out like a bull out of a gate.
Yeah.
You know, like it was sort of a bit patient. and like it could have been a bit more of a snappy acceleration there. They would have been out in like the first couple of seconds. But as it was, they did a really great job as well. Scartel really setting up those points nicely for their jammer. Vanguard's jammer having a little conference with their ref as they go back.
Scartel get the lead. I believe that is Drop Blair jamming against Mavericky.
Little one-on-one at the back there. Vanguard's blockers waiting up the front.
Drop Blair gets knocked to the outside, recycled to the back of the pack by Just Incredible. Vanguard.
Really nice switch from defense to a big sweeping offense there for the Vanguard jammer. It didn't quite work, but they were doing it on their way back to reset the jammer. It was a really nice fluid switch.
Mavericky gets sent to the bin. Power jam for Scartel.
That's definitely not something they need.
No.
Opting again to call it off and go for a power start. They did get some really nice points on the board in that jam. Start out with a fresh jammer, get those blockers doing some really powerful coordinated assist. Ugh. I think that's quite a good strategic play. There is a team timeout going to Vanguard or Scartel.
Vanguard.
It's hard to see from here whether, because like they're sort of indicating towards both of the teams' benches, and I don't know if it's my depth perception or not that's causing the problem.
No doubt. Talking about the next strategies to get lead again, get in front of the Scartel. Current score being 64 to Vanguard versus 69 to Scartel. Very close game here today.
I'm really excited to see what the Scartel blockers pull out, because they've clearly shown that they've worked very, very hard on working as a team of blockers. They've got really coordinated walls, really well communicated, deliberate assists. It's really fun watching them, especially in these power starts.
Looks as though we have Wolfman jamming for Scartel. Pivot line start. I've seen a lot of those this weekend.
Big swarm of Scartel blockers.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful pitch. And Wolfman gets through on the outside.
That's what I'm talking about.
That looked so easy.
Vanguard. Nice attempt there at a little bean dip, but this is a really slidey floor. Didn't quite have the traction coming into turn one to pull it off and slid out, got dragged back by the Vanguard.
Mavericky is back on track for Vanguard.
Very lucky to have not cut two of their own players. Coming back onto the track, that was a bit of a close one from here. Pushing up against that really strong three wall at the front.
Vanguard wall is looking very strong.
Scartel doing a quick assist while at the same time dragging back Vanguard jammer.
Vanguard jammer being brought back to the back of the pack again. Scartel call the jam. Another successful jam for Scartel, putting another 3 points on the board.
The score now is 64 to 72. 73.
Up next we have Fast Chief for Vanguard against this jammer whose name I've forgotten. I feel it's like Captain something. Is it? No.
I'd suggest that we try and come up with like another name for them, but my brain's actually fried. Really solid defense there at the front from the Scartel. Digging in with a really strong brace. Assist comes in, knocks one of the butts and tries to spin into the brace, but they hold their space really, really well. Another big hit on the brace. Jammer trying to crawl through, but gets knocked to the in. Really valiant attempt there at the assist, but those Scartel blockers are really winning me over.
They are.
So good. Both walls, actually, if you look at their Vanguard, the poor Scartel Jammer is just wedged right in there. That is a...
Looks like a world of pain from where we're sitting.
Why would you choose to do that on a Sunday afternoon? Go to the beach. Why am I doing this?
Both jammers pushing against those strong walls on both teams.
Little assist there comes up, busts through that Vanguard formation.
Faster Chief manages to get lead for Vanguard.
I'm really loving Scartel's switch from D to O. As soon as they're not holding the jammer, they're just constantly looking for what they can do for their own, and that's shows excellent awareness, and that they've really been training hard, you can tell.
Power jam for Vanguard. An opportunity for another lead change here.
Nice hit there. Oh, there's a bit of disagreement about whether it was legal or not, I think.
Another big hit to the Vanguard jammer. A 2-wall Scartel blockers is very strong.
Scartel doing a great job to not really lose much ground when it came to that power jam.
There's only 1 point in it here, folks. 74 to Vanguard versus 73 Scartel. That's what we like to see.
There is a timeout.
Oh, it's actually half time.
It is half time. That came up quickly.
That was a very fast half.
Maybe because I only rocked up halfway through it. Like some rogue, I hope. No, just someone who was really hungry.
For those of you watching at home, if you have Twitter... Welcome back, Derby fans. I'm Copperphilia, and joining me today is...
Icy Red.
We finally have a roster in front of us, so I'll quickly go through it now. For Victorian Men's Derby League, the Vanguard, we have 0 Escape Pilgrim, 007 Honey Collider, 05 Lucky Phil, 117 Faster Chief, 12 Simon Chambers, 13 Dreadblocks, 3 Lulu, 4 Go Hard or Go Home, 51 Sin, 696 Private Parts, 75 Just Incredible, 80 Flaming Galar, 82 McFly, 9 Ida Beholder, and 99 Mavericky. And for Brisbane City Rollers, the Scartel, we have
181 the D, 188 Wolfman, 2 Elvis, 22 His Rolliness, 27 Dirtpool, 323 Blacktooth Grinner, 34 Lurch, 35 Hank Fister, 401 Cutthroat King, 462 Honey Badger, 54 Drop Blair, 58 Silent Butcher, 633 Synaptic Kid, 7200 Tropstar, 77 Bipolar Bear, 87 Pistol Knight.
And for our NSOs today, thank you very much for being here. We wouldn't have Derby without you. We have Fisty Muff, Leo Slayer, Satisfaction, Sister Mercy, I already said that one, Nasty Surprise, Devil's Spawn, Boston Mangler, Fister Muff, and wow, Cheshire Splat. And in the stripes we have...
Stats is on there twice for bonuses.
Oh, yeah.
Reffing today we have Pombat, Snarls Dickens, Denominator, Shake and Bacon, Axiom, Bipolar Bear, The Spanish Inquisition, and Happy Cadaver.
Excellent. So I feel that this jam started as a power start.
Well, this jam started and there was some phenomenal fancy line work from Lucky Phil, but unfortunately it did end up being a cut and he lost lead and went to the penalty box for it. So there's a little bit of both sides for the Vanguard in that. They came tearing out as soon as the whistle went. They just went full ball into that wall. It was looking great, but was maybe a little bit not quite controlled, a little bit frantic, and then it didn't quite play out the way that they wanted. So Scartel are in the lead after that jam, 82 to Vanguard 7-4.
I'll just take an opportunity, if you're watching at home and have Twitter, if you go hashtag MRDADU, we'll put up your pictures on the screen here. So that was hashtag MRDADU.
I like to call it MRDADU.
That's a better way to remember it, I think.
Drop Blair jamming for the Scartel, not lead, coming tearing around, but the jam gets called by Faster Chief.
Up next, it looks as though we have Drop Blair jamming against Mavericky. Advantage to Vanguard with 3 blockers on the track versus 2 for Scartel.
I have faith that Scartel will keep it together even with 2 blockers on the track. Their blocking game is absolutely phenomenal. Mavericky twisting and twirling there at the back of the pack, both jammers. Not moving a lot forward, but moving a lot side to side. We've barely moved off the jammer line so far. The blocking from the Scartel triangle at the back is amazing. They've gotten one more person back from the penalty box. Both teams are about to receive their 4th blockers back from the penalty box as well. Scartel losing one in the process.
Mavericky gets lead. Beautiful blocking from Vanguard Honey Collider. Scartel pivot has been sent to the bin.
Really patient call off there from Scartel's jammer. Score is still 82 to 74. Scartel are in the lead, but both teams have now been in the lead and lost it twice.
Yes.
In only about half a game, which is quite amazing. I think that this one's going to be a slog till the end for both teams. Scartel attempting to reset at the front right before the whistle goes. They nearly didn't make it.
Lucky Phil gets through quite easily with a little hop, skip and a jump there.
Honey Collider runs out the front to catch the jammer. A lovely bunch of one-on-one up there from Just Incredible.
4 points on the board for Vanguard. Pack is moving very fast at this stage.
Vanguard have lost a blocker to the bin. Well, Scartel are just about to get one back. who heads straight up in to give some assisting there around the outside of that apex.
Lucky if you're looking to score another 4 points for the Vanguard to catch up.
Nice, powerful assist there from the Scartel pivot. Big whip up the outside. And some quick footwork gets the Scartel jammer out. Some points going up on the board, 4 points on the board for the Scartel. They are not lead. Vanguard have lead. Calling it off from the floor.
Very, very close scoring game here.
Cute little bit of camaraderie there. The Vanguard, the Scartel pivot helping the Vanguard jammer up as they skate back to their benches and reset for the next jam.
Bit of a dance happening on track between Lucky Faster Chief and Drop Blair. Oh no, that's Wolfman.
That's nice. We're all friends here. Scartel doing a little bit of a separating and then coming into their formation right on the whistle, which is something that we've seen VRDL do. And as we all know, VRDL do something, everybody else does it in the weeks after. Everybody's calling it something different. You know, we've sort of referred to it as the four corners.
Faster Chief looking a little...
Rock solid free wall from Vanguard, just really holding up against that offense coming in from Scartel. That offense resetting around, just trying to make any kind of space in that wall. Random tumble there from Vanguard blocker. Unintentionally takes a knee. A little bit of a ping-pongy bounce there. Number 8-7 gets knocked off the track and then accidentally bumps into the Vanguard jammer. Vanguard have pulled ahead at the end of that jam. 90 points to Scartel's 86. Wait. Yes, 86. 86 ain't nothing in Derby.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
I feel like we should have...
4-point gap. Not a thing.
I feel like we should have a couple of beers here, and every time there's a lead change, we take a swing, play one of those games.
Look, with this game, I wouldn't be able to drive home. I'd have to get someone to come get me. Maybe with another game where it just happens once, you know. Nice, close jamming there.
We have Mavericky for Vanguard versus Drop Blair from Scartel.
Vanguard have lead, but it is a close one.
Scartel jammer struggling with a strong three-wall blockers. Vanguard blockers there.
It's very interesting that Vanguard chose to keep jamming even with lead, knowing that the Scartel jammer is also putting points on the board. With a score this tight, I think you would probably want to minimize the opportunities for the opponent to score literally any points. Sometimes when you've got like a big chunky lead and you might be able to put the points on quicker than they can, it's a thing. But in this one, both teams are clearly able to score just as readily as each other. So I'm kind of surprised that Vanguard haven't called it at this moment, and we might end up seeing Scartel put more points on the board than Vanguard despite them having lead.
Power jam to the Scartel. Mavericky being sent to the bin for, it looks as though it was a...
That's a like an insubordination kind of thing. So I'm wondering whether they might have made I didn't see it, but they might have made contact with a down skater. They might have swore.
I feel it might have been swearing.
Audio check. Can you hear me?
Pombat is very quick on the swearing. He refs our scrimmages, and it's just Because you swear and then you get a penalty for it, and then you swear because you realise you got a penalty for swearing, and he'll pile them on. He's keen for us
And it
to
just
learn.
snowballs, and then you're in the bin for the whole game.
Yeah, exactly. I fouled out because I've got a foul mouth, you know.
Mavericky back on track now for Vanguard. And we have another lead change, I believe.
Vanguard have got 3 points on Scartel. Coming into the last 20 minutes of the game.
We have Lucky Phil jamming against. It is Cutthroat King. That's the jammer I was thinking of the whole first half. But it's Cutthroat King of Scartel.
Is it killing you?
Yes.
It's like, I know this. Huge jam there, just going in full speed, busting apart those Scartel blockers, but the effort did take Cutthroat King onto the ground. Some one-on-one out the front. Nice foot gets knocked out and they get dragged all the way back. They are lead, but they're not out of the pack yet.
It's soul destroying.
Oh, exactly. Oh, the blast.
Beautiful apex jump from Cutthroat King. He's not lead though. I feel as though they'll call it off shortly, and they do.
Lucky Phil, sorry, is jamming for the Vanguard. I misspoke. There's more jammer on jammer cuddles on the line.
Oh, wow.
I feel like they're about to do some dirty dancing lifts or something like that. Who goes that? Wolfman?
It is Wolfman up against Faster Chief. Faster Chief, I heard yesterday, was one of the was a junior with Vanguard, I believe, and then he's just recently joined them and tried out for the men's team, Australian men's team last year, but just missed it by, I don't know. He almost got on, but we all feel that he will probably make the next cut.
Oh, those juniors are gonna, they're coming. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the junior stuff. Yeah, the junior leagues in Victoria are really supportive in helping get young skaters involved in the sport. And it's really, really exciting seeing them come up.
Opportunity for the Scartel to score some points for another lead change. Faster Chief has been sent to the bin.
So Vanguard definitely have very phenomenal jammers and very superior jammers, but they are giving away a lot of power jams. Often, I think, because of cuts around the outside.
Yes, most definitely.
And this sort of, they'll try and do that sort of sneaky footwork stuff, and Scartel just won't let them get away with it.
No.
Those blockers have got such good awareness of those lines and are really dragging them back. There's been a couple of times where the jammers skated on not realising that they cut someone, which is really impressive.
Wolfman just getting through the pack, scoring another 4 points. Faster Chiefs back on track, trying to hit that score even.
Vanguard have now pulled ahead, passing the triple figure mark. They are on 101, Scartel 9-5. Very, very close game. Both walls are sort of a little bit all over the place at the moment. There was the very coordinated, organised way that they were skating before, but now they're kind of a bit scattered for some reason. Really not coming together at the end of that jam like we've seen them before. And the jammers are really taking advantage of it. Scartel finishing within 3 points of Vanguard's score at the end of that jam.
Oh, it is a power jam start. Looks as though Faster Chief has been sent to the bin, although an official review has been called by Vanguard. No doubt to see if...
Give us our jammer back.
Yes, to test that penalty, whatever it was.
Well, this background music is really giving me elevator vibes.
I still feel like we're in a video game as well.
What would this be, the water level?
Yeah, it sounds like a water level type music.
It does sound like somebody playing Mario in the next room.
Once again, if you're watching from home, don't forget, if you have Twitter, to hashtag Mr. Dadu or MRDAU, or what was your one?
Mine was MRDADU.
MRDADU. Either or, it will work. And send through your shots from whatever you're doing at home. It could be your dog, it could be what you're eating right now. And we will post that up on Down Under Derby TV.
If you can fashion your food into the shape of a jammer hat, then that'd be really, really cool. Good luck with that.
And yesterday we only got pictures of the flooded car park. That was it. Very disappointing.
If you're fortunate enough to be able to see on your screen the second track over here, this is an amazing venue and we're very, very lucky to have it, but she leaks. We've got strategically placed chairs over on the other track covering various puddles. Because when you hit one of those water puddles on this slick surface, it's like ice.
Call on the black jammer in the previous jam. Upon review, the officials have decided that there was no cut. The blue skater did not have superior. They lose their review.
Power jam start for Scartel. Looks as though we have Drop Blair jamming.
Just quickly, that official review that was called was for Vanguard were asking for the Scartel jammer to be assessed on a cut track call. The referees said no, there wasn't any blue skaters who had superior position when the Scartel jammer re-entered the track, so they will lose their official review and Scartel get to begin with a power jam. Big hit there. Some appealing going on. I don't think in Derby you ever really get to sort of appeal directly to the ref and have them do anything about it, you know. Not in that moment, because you don't, and I kind of like it that way. Like, I really wouldn't like it to be like, oh, that was unfair, and then have the referee go, yeah, cool, I'm just going to call it clockwise anyway. You know, you're like, no, use your official review. Do it properly.
We have Cutthroat King up against Mavericky Vanguard. Mavericky taking that outside line. Counter blocking that Scartel blocker really well.
Well, Scartel to bring their formations back. Things are getting a little bit scattered out there for them, but also for both teams. Everybody's sort of a little bit more shuffled up in the pack than they have been at the start of this half.
Yeah. Cutthroat King being sent to the bin. Power jam for the Vanguard. Beautiful pinch by number 4 of Vanguard. That would be...
Go home or go home.
Go hard or go home.
Mavericky coming around trying to get a few more of those Scartel points, but a really powerful 3-wall, sucking back, actually losing ground. A high block being assessed to number 3-4.
A lot of the Scartel blockers being sent to the bin here. Cutthroat has stashed the star.
Mavericky looking at their jammer ref. Hopefully, as they skated away, I think they weren't entirely sure that they hadn't potentially cut one of those skaters. It was sort of a no pass, no penalty because the blocker who hit them also, in the effort of knocking them out, fell down themselves. Hopefully, they skated away with a hopeful look on their face. I'm good. Am I good to go?
Yeah.
May I be excused from the pack? Thank you. Really nice line work there from Mavericky, hopping and jumping, really avoiding those hits, calling it off out the front of the pack.
They have significantly put more points on the board. 132 to Vanguard versus 102 Scartel.
An absolutely massive jam for them, especially considering they were in the bin at the start of that jam.
I feel like they went to the bin twice. I don't know what happened there.
How do you manage to get 29 points and still have 2 trips to the bin? That's some efficient work. Definitely pulling ahead. There were only 5 points in it earlier. Now there are 30 points between the scores. Scartel are really going to need to dig deep. They had a big penalty spiral, so many of those points were sort of uncontested points of just passing people and then getting the points to the people in the box.
That's true.
It's really, it's hard when you have a bit of a penalty spiral and the points just bleed because they only have to pass one to pick up everybody who's in the box.
Yeah.
It's great if it's your team that, if it's the other team in the box, that's great. But
Another power jam. It is Wolfman that's been sent to the bin of Scartel. Power jam goes to Lucky Phil of Vanguard. Another opportunity for them to break away with the score.
another Scartel blocker is going to the bin.
No doubt they'll call a timeout shortly just to reassess their strategy and get their
head back in the game.
That's it.
They have these amazing formations, but it's very tricky to sort of adapt to that situation when people just keep going to the bin, and then their own frustrations build and everything people start to lose focus at that point. Vanguard are doing a really good job of capitalizing on that, and they've now pulled ahead by 39 points. I can math. I can't math.
No, neither can I actually. So they will need, Scartel will need to really do something to catch up. There's only just under 12 minutes left of the second half here.
There's definitely time given that point differential, and we have really seen Scartel capitalise on some power jams. Wolfman blazing it out of there, hot on the heels of 117 Faster Chief. A little bit of jammer on jammer action. Wolf getting knocked out, having to recycle back. Like if you're trying to perform a bit of an eat the baby situation.
Oh, no, but look.
Oh, no.
He went too far back.
You ate your own baby.
Yes,
what are you
he
doing?
did.
There's that Scartel formation coming back in, some big hits. There's a tendency when you start to get a little bit tired and things start to get a bit intense that some serious sort of one-on-one blocking skills come out, and then everybody's sort of over-committing and overcompensating because you feel like, oh, it's all on me. I have to cover the in all on my own.
It gets a little bit messy and out of control.
Yeah, absolutely. You just need to bring it back, come back to that sort of central place, that central mindset, and focus on really doing the team stuff well.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. I've now got serious underdog feelings about Scartel, though.
Yes, so do I.
Also, Victoria win everything. They don't need me. But I am the commentator, so I know I'm going to be impartial. Impartially, I wouldn't mind.
Here we go.
If Scartel got some points.
Drop Blair makes it out of the pack, gets lead.
That's a very scattered Vanguard lineup. They're trying to reset together, but that's taking a little bit of time. Hopefully that works. I'm showing my hand.
Nice from the Scartel blockers there.
Just incredible out the front, doing some smashy, but it has to yield at the end of the engagement zone. Scartel getting ready to help their jammer assist them through, not wanting to signal too early what their intentions are. They're trying to do a bit of a squeeze on the inside.
Maverick is now back on track.
Oh, I hope they realise. Okay, good.
Multiplayer has been called on number 12, which is Justin Incredible, I believe. Simon Chambers.
They're both tall and talented.
Yes.
So.
A successful jam to the Scartel. Still a few more points for them to catch up. Just under 9 minutes left of the second half.
Definitely a good answer to the last couple of huge jams from the Vanguard. That last jam they put a good number of points on the board. They're like, no, we're not out yet.
We have Cutthroat King jamming against Lucky Phil.
Scartel starting with a pack advantage. Really lovely suck back start there. With a couple of seconds to go, they just went really hard pulling back onto the Vanguard jammer.
Scartel's dedicated trying really hard to assist Cutthroat King to get through that 3-wall. Unsuccessful though.
Vanguard's ability to reform, they can hold that one person for just a second while the rest of them swarm around. It's so effective.
They are very, very good at this.
They are. They are.
Honey Colada holding the pack together, and Cutthroat King gets through as lead. much needed lead at this stage.
It was just incredible, and Lulu out the front doing that insane 2-wall defense, both catching the jammer on the chest, really giving them a lot of grief and saving their own team a lot of time.
Lucky Peel still yet to get through on his initial pass.
If Scartel can pull out a few more jams like this one where they're just chipping away at it, keeping the Vanguard jammer just a little bit shut down, getting lead and just slowly grabbing some points and being safe about it, there is no reason why they can't really challenge that Vanguard breakaway. A little bit of rolling around on the ground there for 401 Cutthroat King. He didn't enjoy what happened, but
No.
looks like there's a bit of a cuddle from Honey Collider. Both packs will be happy to have their full lineups now starting this jam. Everybody on track, nobody sitting in the bin for being naughty. A little bit of dancing going on the second track while Smash are warming up. I'm enjoying that. The jam is on.
Wolfman trying to bust through that 3-wall of Vanguard blockers.
Faster Chief, meanwhile, has been dragged back a couple of times at the back. There's an attempt there by the pivot to force a cut, but they were too well aware. It's all happening around turn 1 and 2 at the moment. Both jammers really stuck on that apex point. Faster Chief looked like they got a little bit of a whack to the face, reset, and is now trying to push up the apex. Unsuccessfully on the back, but it looks like they're trying to be a little bit patient, just looking for a gap, communicating with their blockers. Oh, big fall there on the apex.
That was Faster Chief. It was just hit down.
It's tricky. Those hits that come at a slow pace are just really, really heavy and hard on the apex.
We've got the medics coming over just to see if he's okay.
So meanwhile, Vanguard have got 143, Scartel 117. Scartel have done a good job in the last couple of jams to pull it together, but I also think that they could chill it down a little bit more. I think they are quite frantic in their attempts to make up that lost ground. When they're chill and in control, you can really tell that they've just got this stuff locked down. And it's such a common story. Like every team, I think, has these moments where when it's calm and controlled and together, they feel like they can really do anything. And then when stuff starts to unravel, we all go a little bit individual. And it does, like, you know, you can have amazingly talented one-on-one blockers, but it's just so much better when everybody comes together.
It's true.
Faster Chief is now skating off the track, probably going to have a little bit of a rest after that big hit on the apex. It's good to see that the skating off, going to get checked out by the medics. Wearing the star now is Mavericky for Vanguard.
And we have Cutthroat King for Scartel.
Scartel have an advantage over the Vanguard blockers. Sending an assist up right away, trying to mess with the wall, but they will have to bridge. Vanguard doing a really great job. Mavericky is free of the back of the wall, but Scartel did a really good job. Oh, does get through after a big hit on the Scartel blockers.
Mavericky's really good at counter blocking those heavy blocks that get thrown at him, and he seems to always just push the other blocker over and get through. It's amazing to watch.
I want that superpower. If I have someone come at me, I'm like, no, just no.
I hear that Mavericky does a lot of triathlons. So that would probably help his...
Please don't tell me that effective cross-training for roller derby is to take up another extremely intense competitive sport. It's fine. You'll be good at roller derby if you just do triathlons in your spare time.
Yeah. Mavericky through for another 5 points.
Scartel sort of hovering out the front. It's really not a great place to be. You want to get your defense as close to the opposition's jammer as possible. When you sort of hover out the front and wait for them to engage with you, you're giving them so much time to pick a line, or to plan a fake or be strategic. You want to go to them, take their space, take their time, make it so that they don't have the opportunity to make these big decisions.
Successful star pass for the Scartel, but Vanguard will not let them get any points at this stage.
633 is a Synaptic Kid at the end of that jam. There you go, jammer at the end of that jam. So many words that I could not put in order. Right then, it was so hard. Just got to wait for this coffee to kick in.
We have a timeout now for Scartel, no doubt to get their heads back in the game. It's a little bit frantic for them out there.
They had a good jam in response to Vanguard's big jam when the lead pulled out to 30, but it has now, since that sort of brief little injury break and then a couple of power jams have happened. There's been... but at the same time, the Vanguard have had more people go to the penalty box, I think.
They have, yes.
So it's an interesting... They're starting to sort of come apart, but there is a lot in their favour that they could totally... From here on out, they definitely could close up that gap with a couple of good jams. But we are pushing the last 3 minutes, maybe. I'm getting a little bit optimistic. I feel like nothing's impossible. I'm like, look, you can get 30 points in a jam. So
this is true.
2 more jams, you get another 60 points. They've won.
Yep.
Right?
It is possible.
Just do 2 30-point jams. I mean...
There might be another jam at the end if there's a strategically placed timeout.
Or if they end on a tie. Oh, it's like a unicorn when you get an overtime jam. Really slow start there from both jammers, sort of lazily cruising around to the apex before really engaging those walls. 05, Lucky Phil is jamming for the Vanguard.
And Cutthroat King 401 for the Scartel.
Nice line there. Cutthroat King goes straight into Honey Collider. She is small, but she will not let you go anywhere that you want to go. I tried. I tried so hard. Really slow pack there. They cruised all the way around that apex and they shut it down on that opposite straightaway.
The lead is still up for grabs, although Cutthroat King has been recycled to the back of the pack, as has Lucky Phil.
It's amazing to be this far around the track and not have lead called yet.
Both teams are fighting very hard for their jammers.
It might be Lucky Phil. Maybe. Who knows?
And it is Lucky Phil. Lucky Phil skates like he's just going for a stroll in the park. It's amazing.
That was some very smooth transition work over there. So coming up after this game, we've got Smash and Varsity.
Just under 3 minutes left of the second half. Vanguard have the lead.
It took most of the time on the clock for them to get lead. It was a very, very long period where lead was still open. Scartel not really having any luck getting their jammer out of the pack. The Vanguard's defense has just shut them right down, and they've lost another blocker to the penalty bin.
Lucky Phil getting recycled to the back of the pack.
Doesn't seem too stressed about it, to be honest.
No.
Most chilled call-off I've ever seen. Almost like he was wondering where his keys were. Did I leave them in my front pockets?
Feel Vanguard might run the clock down now.
They definitely can. They really have just managed to dominate this final quarter of the game. Pulling ahead and then really making it so the Scartel can't get back together and couldn't really do their lovely formation and their coordinated assists like they had been doing.
I feel after the penalty spiral that Scartel had, they found it very difficult to get it back together.
Absolutely. It can be really tricky. It's very hard to regain that composure once you feel like it's starting to slip.
Yeah.
Because there's sort of an upped urgency and there's a bit of a hype, and then by nature that increased urgency then makes you do things that are a little bit less considered, less deliberate, more instinctive, and a little bit more risky. And it's sort of what you need to do in those moments is really just find a way to be like, no, we have to dig it in, but we need to keep it really calm.
We have Wolfman jamming for Scartel against Mavericky, I believe, of Vanguard.
Mavericky really working those blockers across the track. They're doing a lot of formation. Vanguard's assisting has come back. Nice shoe wall work at the front there. Really good reset, but a little bit of a stability issue. A little bit of an appeal that looked like a hey, you hit me in the face kind of appeal. I know that look when the head goes back and the hand goes up. And unfortunately, visors don't protect your mouth.
We have Drop Blair jamming for Scartel against Lucky Phil.
A minute left on the period clock and around 50 points to make up. I mean, I think they can do it. Come on. Come on, you gotta have a positive attitude.
The glass is half full.
It is. The jam is half empty. I don't know.
Drop Blair trying to get through that 3 wall at the front. Vanguard blockers. As Lucky Phil's still stuck at the back of the pack.
Not that it matters, but at this stage, if I was a Scartel, I would just go full on assist and just get my jammer out of there. Like,
I think
what are you
so.
going to do? It's like the last minute. Why would you? I'd screw it. You know? Let's go beat him up.
Drop Blair struggling with that 3 wall at the front. Sisters come through. 3-2-3 of Scartel.
Lead is still open at this point. There is a cut track being assessed. Vanguard losing a blocker to the bin. Still no lead. They are coming around to turn number 3. Really, really slow walls. Both jammers working very hard to push those walls up, but it's a drag back party.
It is.
Oh my
Both
gosh.
jammers being recycled once again. Being sucked back. Trying to make up ground to get around that track. Trying to get through the pack. These walls are intense.
They are intense. I do not envy them.
No.
I want to be them, but I don't want to be there. Vanguard quite happy to just burn the clock down. It's a little bit of pushing at the back, but not a huge amount of urgency. I mean, lead is still open and there's not enough time left on the period clock for any real thing to happen if they do manage to get lead.
Drop Blair is lead. He's struggling against a 2 wall of Vanguard blockers, but finally gets through. I really hope he gets to score some points
I
now.
want him to have some points too. Props to the ref for managing to pay attention to who needed to be passed and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing I find whenever I'm, I have been asked by jammers in like a really sort of fast moving pack. They're like, who do I need to get? And I'm like, I don't have a clue.
Well, that is the end of the second half. So final score, 166 to Vanguard versus 119 to Scartel. Great game.
We had 3 or 4 lead changes in the first half of the game, but then as we came partway into the second half, Vanguard managed to get a couple of really big scoring jams, and since then Scartel really struggled to pull it back and stay in control. Both teams had some serious penalty spirals. Vanguard losing a lot of jammers to the bin throughout that whole game, but managing to dominate in that second half. It was really cute because you could tell that both teams were just really, really happy to see each other. There was a lot of jammer line dancing and a lot of cuddling and helping each other up, which is always good to see.
Yeah, that was an excellent game. I quite enjoyed that. Just take the opportunity to thank all the officials of that game. We had Leo Slayer, Satisfaction, Sister Mercy,
Satisfaction's on there
Why-
twice.
why?
It's because he's very important.
Nasty Surprise, Devil's Sworn, Bus and Mangler, Fist Him Up, Cheshire Splat, and the Stripes we have.
Pombat, Snarls Dickens, Denominator, Shaken Bacon, Axiom, Bipolar Bear, the Spanish Inquisition, and Happy Cadaver. We're really, really grateful to our officials crew. They've had so many games to officiate over this weekend, and they do an amazing job. We are so, so blessed to have such high quality officials for these games this weekend, and it just wouldn't happen without them. So we're very, very grateful.
Next up, we have Sydney City Smash playing against Varsity Derby League Capital Carnage. That game will start at 4 o'clock?
Yes,
4 o'clock.
that's the plan.
But
If all goes well.
thanks for joining me hosting Icy.
It's been a pleasure.
So I'm Copperphilia, commentating for Down Under Derby TV on Twitch. And stay tuned for Game 6 at 4 o'clock.
Right, I've got a mic now, so this is going to be problematic. The most valuable player of the tournament is Astro Boy. Okay, the last award is the Best and Fairest Award. This is one of the awards that Smash loves the most. And we're very proud to say that the best and fairest of this tournament has been voted as Mr. Bump. As you were.
Mic drop. We had a fun weekend. We all enjoyed ourselves. All right, so Interleague, let's talk about it in the next week or so. We should do this again in maybe like May next year, April or May, something like that. Excellent. I know exactly this thing again, here in this venue. All right, cool. We'll talk about it, but I think we should do it again just a bit earlier in the year. Awesome. Thanks, folks.
Welcome, Derby fans, to Game 6 at the Velodrome for MRDADU, 4 o'clock game with Sydney City Smash Men's Derby Inc. against Varsity Derby League Capital Carnage. With me today, I have the lovely Bitchy and Scratchy. Hi, Bitchy. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Cobb?
Not too bad. It's Bitchy's debut commentating today. And we'll just go through today's 4 o'clock game roster. Bitchy, do you want to go let us know who was on Smash today?
Oh, for Smash, we've got 1-0 Jim Peckable, 1-1 Ash Page, 1-3 Axel Rolls, 1-7 George W. Douche, 1-8 Icky, 2-0 J-Dam, 2-1 General Rubbish, 2-4-2 Commando Roll, 3-6-5-0 Bruce Scramble, 4-2 Fairy, 5 Regan, 6 Mr. Bump, 7-7 Rebel Base, 8 Tomahawk, 88 Knuckles, 89 KP, 9-0 Grease Monkey. We don't have the full roster out here today, but that is their roster.
For Varsity Derby League, Capital Carnage, we've got 1101 Cliffhanger, 15 Jammy Slamister, 173 Copter, 1878 Pension Check, number 2 Erectile Dysfunction, 41 Fat Boy, 44 Bobby Smack, 61 Leo Slayer, 643 Niall Boyd, and 77 David Deckham. NSOs today for Game 6. We have Nasty Surprise, Fisty Muff, Cheshire Splat, Devil Spawn, Satisfaction, Snarls Dickens, Boston Mangler, and Sister Mercy. For our the people in the stripes, we have...
We've got Head Ref today's Game Over. We have Purple, Spanish Inquisition, Axiomatic, Bipolar Bear, Happy Cadaver, Shake and Bacon. Pombat, I think, is having this one off.
Oh, looks like we are in Jam 2 of the first half of this game, Smash against Carnage. Smash have just put 4 points on the board. There seems to be... Go.
Smash have the pack advantage here.
Mr. Bump
Oh,
getting lead, jumping the straight. Jamming for Carnage, we have number 41, which is Fat Boy.
Fat Boy's still not out. Sydney on their scoring pass. Sydney holding the jammer down really well there. Fat Boy getting some O.
Mr. Bump trying to get through that wall of 3. Calls off the jam before Carnage can score any points.
Delicately calling that one off.
And we have Regan, number 5, for Sydney City Smash, up against 643 for Carnage, who is Boyd.
Boyd. He did just receive Player of the Tournament, I believe.
Oh, he did?
He did. Well done, Boyd.
Excellent.
Looks like we have Boyd v. Regan on the line, ready to go.
Again, for those of you watching at home that have Twitter, please hashtag MRDADU. Take some photos of what you're doing at home. We'd love to put them up on the Down Under Derby TV feed via Twitch.
I want to see snacks.
So do I.
About snacks.
Yeah. And jam's on. Sydney Wall is looking very strong. Jim Peckable being sent to the bin.
There goes Boyd. Got lead.
Regan almost out of the pack. Getting pushed to the outside, being recycled to the back. Regan getting through on his initial.
There we go. First points. Carnage.
The walls are looking very tight in these last 2 games for the weekend. I feel like it's more of an even matchup between Carnage and Smash and Vanguard and Scartel. So both these 2 games today, I think, will be quite close.
Smash is a player down. And there goes Carnage getting lead.
777, David Deckham gets lead. Jamming against number 17, 4 smash, George W. Douche. George stashes the star.
Going stealth for smash.
George still on initial. David Deckham passes to get 4 points.
Let's get some jammer on jammer. Come on. No, calling it off.
Playing it safe here. Current score 8 for Smash, 9 for Carnage.
Jim Impeccable back in the box. Looks like he likes to have a seat, have a rest.
Needs to think about what he's done.
He's hanging his head in shame.
It looks like we have Fat Boy jamming against Mr. Bump.
Mr. Bump, yep.
Fat Boy gets lead, although gets recycled to the back of the pack.
Oh, smooth moves.
Mr. Bump gets through. He's not lead. No doubt Fat Boy will call it off before Mr. Bump can actually touch the pack, and he does. This is a 0-0 jam.
Carnage is just in the lead. Good to see. Close game. Let's go.
Hopefully it stays this close for the whole game.
Here we got the Icky and Boyd. Ready to jam. Jim, again, waiting to step out of the penalty beam. Boyd through.
Pack advantage for Carnage. 4 blockers on the track versus Smash with 3.
There goes Boyd, untouched.
Beautiful O from the Carnage team.
Smash tripod holding onto Boyd there. In comes the O. There he goes.
Boyd does a little hop, skip and a jump over the apex to score another 5 points for Carnage. Boyd sneaking through on the inside line there, scoring another 5 points for Carnage.
Big jam so far.
Icky getting recycled to the back of the pack. Boyd against a strong 4 wall of Sydney Smash blockers.
Icky having to do some hard work there.
Boyd through for another 5.
Big jam.
That puts Carnage significantly in the lead now, 29-8. Smash can still catch up though. It's only 22 minutes down, 22 minutes to go. We have Regan up against
Deckham.
Could be David Deckham. Deckham gets through on that inside line.
And there goes Regan. Ash Page ready for some D at the back there.
Deckham will look to score a few points before calling it off.
Oh, did Regan sneak one in? I think he did. Yep, 2-1 to Carnage there. I do love the sound of the skating in the Velo. It's a slick, fast track.
I love the floor here. It's great.
Not to fall on, but sounds good.
So it looks as though we have Fat Boy for Carnage, 41, who gets the lead, jamming Carnage up against
George W.
George trying to take the outside line.
Yes.
Gets stuck between 2 wall at the front. Drops the star.
Carnage being held up on his scoring pass here by Sydney.
Fat Boy calling it off before George can even get through on
Everyone's
his
just
initial.
rolling around here. Hopefully everyone's okay.
As FTP likes to call it, horizontal derby. Was it? No, that was commando roll yesterday.
It's very relaxed derby.
Yeah.
These boys do get sweaty. You don't want those sweat patches on the track. It's a little slick, as it is.
We have Mr. Bump up against Boyd.
Full packs, both teams. Oh, Boyd dances. Sure, yet again.
Oh, massive hit by Carnage to Mr. Bump. Oh, massive counter block by Boyd. It's one of the Sydney blockers there. 4 irons penalty for a Carnage blocker. Boyd getting through 5 points, 5 in the sky.
5 up high. And he calls it. They've got 1 in the bin. No points for Sydney there.
I feel as though Sydney need to calm their lineups a little bit.
Does get hectic out there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So David Deckham and Regan ready to jam. Smash have pack advantage.
Regan trying to get through the 2 wall at the front. Makes
Regan
it through his lead. Good opportunity for Sydney to rack up some more points to bridge the gap.
Well, copter straight into blocking.
Regan through for 5
Yeah,
points.
that's 5 in the sky.
David Deckham struggling against the Sydney blockers there. Regan through for another 5. It's a great jam for Sydney.
Yep, Deckham's finally out. Regan is scoring well this jam. Calls it off. Nice one.
Another 4 points for Sydney. Bridging the gap a little bit. Still anyone's game here.
Carnage do seem to have a short bench today. See a lot of them doubling up. Jam to jam.
Timeout for Carnage. No doubt Sydney will be celebrating that beautiful jam they just had. Current score, Smash 23, Carnage 43.
Yep, 20 points is not a big gap, really, in
Not
the
a
game
big
of Derby.
gap. Just like to take this opportunity to thank our coverage crew this weekend. Producer, FTP, Bitchy for commentating with me today, last game. We had Purple on the Switch, B-Cat, even Stephen, Ash Page, and Jeep. Oh. And I think we also had Commander Roll commentating and Sasha Fierce, of course, yesterday.
And thanks to Cop as well.
Oh. Jam is on. We have George W. Douche jamming against David Deckham, I think it is.
Yep.
It's getting a little bit hectic out there.
And there goes David Deckham through. Not lead.
Power jam to Carnage. George W. getting sent to the bin. Deckham is through. Copter being sent to the bin for a forearms.
Page having a lie down in the sun. Lovely afternoon.
George W. Douche out in no time.
Stashing the star.
This jam will go for 2 minutes.
It will, and we have a rev
Oh.
takeout.
George W. Douche is taken out.
Axiom straight back up, putting 5 in the sky. David Deckham, like nothing ever happened. Such a pro.
It is looking a little bit messy out there at the moment.
Another little picnic
A lot of bodies on the floor.
in the corner there. David Deckham slowly getting up. Trying to call it, but he is not lead.
3 Sydney blockers in the bin. David Deckham will look to capitalise on this. Deckham getting it pushed to the outside, being recycled by Ash Page of Sydney.
Ash Page all over him again. And making his way to the bin. 1 Sydney in, 1 Sydney out. 1 Sydney standing in the bin.
This will be a definite pack advantage for Carnage.
After that jam, Sydney would need the advantage, but we'll see how they go.
Looks as though we have Mr. Bump against Boyd.
Boyd's super busy out there today, pivoting and jamming.
Oh, massive hit.
Oh, there he goes. Mr. Bump has lead.
Boyd hot on his heels though.
Will he score some points?
He may have got 1 there. Yep, 1-0. Nice work, Mr. Bump.
Zip, yeah. The old nickel and dime tactic there.
So we have Regan of Smash jamming against David Deckham of Carnage. Very tight pack to start with. Nice suck back from both teams.
Deckham's through, not lead.
Regan takes the inside line.
Regan lead, calls it off. Got the bin cleared, well done.
It's always a good thing. We have Icky jamming against David Deckham.
He hasn't had a break, has he? He's just
No.
back on there.
Carney's working very, very hard here with only 8 players on their
About
roster.
8, yeah. Gonna have to watch the penalties today.
David
Getting
Deckham's
lead.
through.
Icky spins.
Copter recycling Icky all the way to the back of the pack.
Let's go, Icky.
And once again by Copter. David Deckham on his scoring pass. Putting another 5 points on the board for Carnage. Current score, Carnage 67 to Smash 25. Just under 13 minutes left on the clock. Another successful jam for Carnage.
Now building a bit of a league on Smash at the moment.
For those of you watching at home, Sydney are currently ranked number 27 on the MRDA rankings. I feel as though that the other teams may not be eligible as they haven't played enough games, which is why we're having this tournament here today and yesterday, this weekend, here at the Velodrama.
It's good to have a bit of sanctioned derby.
Smash is a fairly new team. I think they're a developing team at the moment. Had a lot of older players leave.
There's a lot of experience on the Carnage team here. It's skating together for quite a while now.
Beautiful
Looks
apex
like
jump.
Successful apex jump, yep. Mr. Bump put his own hands up for a little holler.
Carnage Jammer has been sent to the bin, which will help Smash here.
Boyd may need the rest.
So if Mr. Bumps can get past Copter. Being recycled all the way to the back of the pack. Soul destroying.
See if I can give Mr. Bump a little low here. A little low, a little love.
Mr. Bump takes
There
the
it is.
outside line, gets through for 5 points.
Here comes Boyd. Returning from the bin.
Multiplayer penalty called on Carnage blocker. Sydney recycling. Boyd all the way back to the pack. End of the pack. Ash Page being sent to the bin for a track cut, looks as though.
Mr. Bump sneaking through there on the inside. Getting 5 aside here. 5 points for everyone.
And that is in a jam. I feel that was a 2-minute jam.
Yeah, Boyd thinks so too, having a seat just to call that one off. And
Oh, we have.
Lavo sorted. Smash, smash, smash. That's from Captain Kit Kat.
It is too. Hey, Kit Kat, how you going?
Who's that from?
Faster Grandma.
Big hit on the jaw, you mean? I don't think they were trying to knock him out. That's
I think
not
I've
the game.
called an official review and are using it as a timeout.
Sasha, fierce. Absolute nail biter. Oh my God, yes it is.
Vanguard versus Scartel, can't look away for a second. That was a pretty good game.
It was
Vanguard.
very close. From Faster Grandma through Twitter.
A few lead changes in that game.
Looks like the gem is back on. So there we have Regan up against 777 David Deckham. Tactical start by Sydney, taking the front of the pack.
Oh, there goes. That's Mr. Oh, no, it's
That's
Regan.
Regan getting
Regan's
lead.
back. Deckham's out as well.
Regan will look to score a couple of points here before calling it off.
Let's go, Regan. Sneak in there. Calling it now.
Yeah, calls it off before Deckham can get through for any points. 0-0 jam. Oh,
I
wait.
think he might have got 2.
No, he got 2.
It's a little hard to see from up here,
It
but it
is.
looks like we got a 2. Sneaky 2, they'll take that.
Excellent track awareness from Regan.
1 Carnage in the bin. What do we got? Copter lining up to jam. Yeah, it's George W there.
We were talking yesterday about how Copter hates jamming, but I don't think so. I think he heaps loves it. Hashtag Copter heaps loves it.
Nearly through on the inside there. He's like, what the hell? Let's do this again.
George W. Douche getting through for lead for Sydney.
Let's see what George can put on the board now. Copter is going stealth mode. Bit of jammer on jammer action. This might be our first jammer and jammer dance today. Smash do need these points. Pretty good to see him get on out there and push his way through. Let's go, George.
George is hot on his heels.
Copter keeping an eye on him.
Copter is still on his initial
And
pass.
nice moves. George through.
George is through on his scoring pass.
Copter, one-man wall that he is, pushing his way through.
George will call this off shortly, I believe. Pack is running fast.
Copter's scored there at the back.
Nice work, George.
Nice one. What did we get? An 8-1 there?
The score bridge is, the gap is being, how do I say this?
Shrinking.
Shrinking. That's a thing.
It's getting exciting.
So 52 to Smash versus 81 Carnage. Is anyone's game still? Still in the first half. Under 7 minutes to go.
The Boyd versus the bump. Using our hands to skate, using our feet to skate.
Commander roll being sent to the bin.
Boyd dancing at the front, playing with Jim. Jim had a good go there. Mr. Bump just like, excuse me, coming through, and there he goes. Boyd looking to score a few quick points. And he does. Oh, he's off
Mr.
to the
Bump.
bin. No, he's off to the bin.
Power jam for Sydney. Mr. Bump getting through with 5 points. Mr. Bump will look to capitalise on this and
Send out some
Couple
O
points
there for Mr. Bump. Come on, Sydney. Commander rolls, release from the bin. Coming in, probably going to give Mr. Bump some O.
Sydney team working really hard to get Mr. Bump through that pack.
Carnage just recycling on him. Tight pack, Boyd is back on the track. Nice work, Mr. Bump.
Mr. Bump is through for 5 points.
Looking a little bit tired. Oh, what have we got there? Another penalty for Boyd. He's going to have to watch that.
Mr. Bump getting knocked to the outside, being recycled to the back of the pack. Still a chance to score more points here before the clock runs out for this jam.
So far, Sydney is 10 zip. So those last seconds of the jam just take forever when you're a jammer.
Sydney trying to do a pinch. Trying to spring the jammer.
And he's through.
Another 5 in the sky for Sydney.
Boyd
Bridges the
just
gap.
released just before the end of the jam. Well done, Sydney. Looks like 15-4.
Bitchy, we're on TV.
Shh. You are.
And next up, we looks like though we have Regan jamming against. I can't
Frenetic
see.
looking pack there.
David Deckham.
3 for lead.
Regan stashes the star, gets through on the outside.
So sneaky, didn't even see him there. Took the star off.
Deckham on his scoring pass. Struggling.
This is
Calls
a nice
jam.
push. Whoa. We got 3 zip there, I think.
Just under 4 minutes left of the first half here.
So Copter's back to jam. Had the douche versus the Copter just before, didn't we? Let's see how this face-off goes. Again, some bin action for Sydney.
Copter getting through on that inside.
George W. off to the bin. Power jam for Carnage. Let's see what he can do here.
Oh, up against Ash Page. Rampage pushes him to the outside. Tries to recycle, but gets stopped by 643 Boyd. Oh, jumps over number 13 from Sydney. Very messy jam that was.
But you would like Copter to jump you. You wouldn't want him to just stumble over you.
Can you jump over a skater? Is that illegal?
Safe.
Safe.
Safe option. It was axle rolls. Avoiding getting splattered on there.
Looks like it's a power jam start for Carnage. David Deckham.
Mando fighting his way out of the back there.
Pekka trying to push him to the outside, unsuccessful.
All the D from Sydney.
Sydney get lead. We didn't even see George
George
come
is excited
through.
about that. Get in there, George.
Oh, beautiful hop, skip and a jump over the apex from George W. Douche, putting 5 points on the board for Sydney.
David Deckham having a bit of a hard time up the front there with Sydney.
George being
Nice work, Sydney there, holding it back.
George being recycled to the back. We'll look to call it off shortly.
And he does, just in time. What did we get there?
Just under 2 minutes left of the first half. Smash on 75, Carnage 93.
That was an 8-0 jam. That was well done by Smash.
Looks like we've got Mr. Bump up against David Deckham.
Sydney has the pack advantage. See if they can hold on to Deckham just for a little bit longer.
Wait,
Is that Regan dancing at the back there?
I think is that Regan or Mr. Bump? Regan. Deckham gets through for lead.
Regan doing his signature dancing up the outside line there. Not quite making it this time. But he does do it so well.
He does. Regan does love that outside line. David Deckham up against Ash Page, 11 of Sydney.
Ash Page giving him everything. And Ash looks like he's taken the star. Ash Page having a go, jamming through.
Ash
It's the
against
Ash Page
Copter.
and Copter show again.
Page getting recycled to the back of the pack.
These guys know each other quite well as skaters. On and off the track, I'm sure. We're milking this jam. We have some Carnage in the bin.
Page does put points on the board for Sydney though, 4 points.
Now we have some Sydney in the bin. Bit hectic. Everyone having a seat in the bin today.
That was 4 points for Smash and
Carnage breaking the ton there.
13 Carnage.
13
Yes.
to 4. And exhausting, 13 to 4.
Looks as though it is half time here, folks.
Yep, time for some sliced oranges, I'd say.
Again, it's quite another close game today. The matchups are pretty good. Sydney against Carnage, and then we had Scartel against Vanguard. Both very close games today. Unlike yesterday, there are a few washouts there, but it's been quite exciting here at the Velodrama today.
A bit like the Sydney weather.
Right, so we'll leave you, folks. We'll be back shortly for second half of Game 6. You are watching Down Under Derby TV on Twitch. I'm Copophilia, and with me I have...
Itchy and Scratchy.
We'll see you soon.
Right, yeah, you know what's right. waking up, shaking off all these lies, and I'm waking up to you in the middle of the night, imagining the thought of your hands between her thighs, picturing the thought of your interlocking eyes. You make me, yeah, you make me, you make me feel so different, you make me feel so different. All the friends said this was a recipe for disaster. She said, don't worry, I won't fall into his rafters. Da 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 da
we're already back into the second half.
I'm Copophilia, and I'm here with Bitchy and Scratchy.
Hi, Cop.
Hello. We are here at the Velodrama today, Game 6 of MRDADU. Sydney City Smash Men's Derby Inc. against Varsity Derby League's Capital Carnage.
Obviously, the team in pink.
It's a great colour. I love pink.
It's the colour of our capital. We did notice during the break, it looks like Boyd may have failed out. He has de-geared and taken his skates off.
This would be a massive blow to the Carnage team as their roster is only 8 skaters.
George W. Douche through there for lead. Yeah, Boyd quite pivotal there. He was a pivotal pivot for them. And also a jammy jammer. See if Sydney can take advantage of this unfortunate fouling out for Carnage.
We've got Copter up next jamming for Carnage against, I feel it's Mr. Bump, number 6 for Sydney City Smash. Interesting start to the jam. Very penalty heavy game.
We cannot see the penalty board from here, but we're assuming it's pretty busy.
These players have had a very long weekend.
They have. The sun is slowly setting over the Velodrama.
It's beautiful. It's quite romantic, as we were
It is.
saying.
Bit of a Sunday afternoon delight here at the Velo.
We got Regan, Power Jam start for Sydney. Players
Ash
being
Page at the back, keeping an eye on Copter. It's the Copter and Page show again.
They always seem to be up against each other, these two.
Oh, they do.
They love it. Copter heaps loves it.
Okay,
Hashtag.
Page gives it back. Oh, see, hand taps all the way through.
Another successful jam for Sydney, slowly creeping their way back up to even the score.
It is a close game. We got 3-zip on that one. Do you want to math that one? Looks like 12 to me. Oh, it's a 14-point jam.
Wait.
Trying to read the points here as well.
Wow.
We're so far away from
We're
everything.
really bad at maths. You got David Deckham for Carnage jamming against George W. Douche. Deckham gets through for lead. Pekka and Copter. Copter actually against George W. Douche and Pekka.
And Douche off for a cut there.
Oh, beautiful
smooth
apex jam. Apex jump.
Jamming a jump.
Yeah.
That's a good jammy jump. Oh, strained Icky over in the outside. Sydney slowing him down there.
More horizontal derby going on.
Oh, a little multiplayer there with Commando.
George W. Douche standing.
Again, in the bin, out of the bin.
It's very messy out there today.
Some nice attempt there by Jim Pickable. Trying to slow down David Deckham. He's just on a roll. He does need to be for Carnage. He's going to have to do the hard yards here.
Nice, easy 4 points for David Deckham there. Is that 3?
Swings and roundabouts this game. It's another 18 points to Carnage. Nothing there for Smash.
Still anyone's game here.
I hope so. I'm not calling it yet.
No.
Smash being a bit sneaky there.
Massive pack advantage for Carnage here.
Another cut on the jammer.
That was Mr. Bump, number 6 for Sydney, being sent to the bin. Page against 84 for Carnage.
Jammer being very zen, coming into the pack there. Who is this jamming? That's not Fat Boy, is it?
No.
An imposter. We have an imposter on the Carnage team.
He doesn't seem to be rusted here, but
Just booming his way through there.
Mr. Bump is back on the track. Tries to take the inside line. Gets shut down by number 41 of Carnage, Fat Boy. But eventually does get through. Is not lead. Opportunity for Sydney to score some points here.
A lot of fight in that pack over there. It's only men's derby has it. Jam on jammer, we have a winner!
Nice hit from Mr. Bump, taking out Carnage Jammer.
It is a hard, cold, concrete, unforgiving floor here. Jammer may have been a little winded there, but he is starting to get up. But it was legal and it was beautiful from Mr. Bump.
Mr. Bump, and the size difference between the two jammers is just crazy. We have Regan jamming, I believe. Yep.
Regan and Deckham. Deckham and Regan.
More jammer on jammer action.
Copter straight out of the bin, straight onto the jammer.
You just never see Copter coming. He just seems to sneak up on you and takes you out.
Even in all that hot pink. Never seen them.
Deckham getting sent to the bin.
Regan lead.
Regan's not lead.
No.
A lot of things going on here at the moment. Both pivots are back on track. Both teams. Regan getting eaten alive by Copter.
Copter all over him again.
Regan recycled to the back of the pack. Still yet to score points. Carnage Jammer is standing.
A little bit O there for Regan from Commando.
And he gets
Off
through
he
for
goes.
5 points.
Carnage Jammer back on track. Straight into a smash wall, but straight through it.
Regan getting knocked out by Copter, getting recycled all the way to the back. Deckham looking to score some points here up against Sydney 3-wall.
It's always good to stay away from Copter's shoulders, I find.
Does. Avoid, avoid, avoid.
Regan doing well to still keep pushing hard. Clock ringing down, lots of points being scored. Benches are yelling at the skaters.
Sydney
Skaters
giving-
are yelling at the skaters.
Sydney trying to give over to Regan. Oh, massive apex jump.
Stand!
Oh.
Yes!
Just
Gets his 5.
one-footed slide on the outside, but he makes it.
Regan constantly pushing through again.
Interesting jam. I feel it's very close.
That was good.
Looks like there were 12 points for Sydney there, 13 for Carnage.
A lot of D and a lot of O. A lot of derby.
Current score, Smash on 110 against Carnage, 146.
Lots of points. Good to see.
Just want to thank our Officials again, we have NSOing today, Nasty Surprise, 50 Muff, Cheshire Splat, Devil Spawn, Satisfaction, Snarls Dickens, Boston Mangler, and Sister Mercy. And in the stripes,
Now stripes. We have Game Over, head reffing for us there. We have Purple, Spanish Inquisition, Axiom, Bipolar Bear, Happy Cadaver. No Pombat for this game, and Shake and Bacon. Some veteran stripes out there, that is for sure. Always good to see. And some veteran stats people, like our stats. He's our stats man.
this is timeout sings.
So that was game off, now we're game on.
Both teams are trying to regroup. We've got George W. Douche, 17 for Sydney Smash, jamming against Copter.
Again, the face-off continues.
They love this pairing.
Smash sneaking to the front there. Gonna try and hold on Copter as long as they can.
George W. Douche gets pushed to the inside, gets recycled. Copter gets through for lead.
Carnage pivot in the bin. And Smash pivot in the bin. Just pivot party in the bin.
Copter just sneaking through the outside to score. Nice 4 points for Carnage.
He's a hard man to take down. George W. sneaking around. Nope. Almost getting a bit of friendly fire. Knocked out to the outside there.
A lot of penalties happening here in this game.
Yep. May have lost a little visual there for a second or two, but we're back. Panties have hit the floor. Nope, we've got it. George W. Douche. Back to jamming. Copter again. Coming through. Oh, a little skip there.
Hops
Taking
over the
5
apex.
for that one.
Douche gets through on the outside line.
Tiny packs. Look at the tiny pack.
Tiny packs. Oh, 77 from Smash. Rebel Base tries to take out Copter, unsuccessful.
Yep. There's a bit of a slippery track, but maybe we're just getting tired here as well.
I feel like Copter's just going round and round at this stage. George W. Douche being sent to the bin. Power jam for Carnage.
Fairly big scoring jam for Copter at the moment. Finally calls it off.
Excellent jam. He's
very
loving
happy
it.
about that.
Hashtag Copter. He loves it.
Because he loves jamming.
He loves it.
Getting some high fives from his team there.
That was a huge jam for Carnage, I believe. 31 points
31
for
to 10.
Copter.
A busy bin again. Keeping all the NSOs busy there today.
That looks
Yep,
like
game over. Happy with that. Yep. Wondering why Ash Page may have left the track. I'm not sure if that's a foul out. Cannot see the penalties.
So we have one down for Carnage, and it seems as though we have one down for Sydney. David Deckham trying to get through. Pekka trying to stop him. Deckham is through for lead.
Sydney Jam is still sitting in the bin. Carnage is ready for him.
Deckham is through for
Deckham's
5
through.
points.
Sydney jumping on the O.
Sydney still on initial.
Commando being sent off there.
Deckham looking to get through another scoring pass. Up against 3 wall of Sydney blockers. Deckham calls off the jam. Carnage are breaking away with points.
Taking advantage of Sydney being in the bin there as well, calling that jam off.
Current score 120 to Smash and 187 to Carnage. Less than 20 minutes. 17 minutes on the clock.
Copter's back because he loves it. Is it a bumping copter? Copter bump?
Bump trying that outside line. Unsuccessful.
Oh. Copter, yep, getting a forearm penalty there by the look of it.
He's had a few penalties this game. I wonder what he's on right now.
Can't tell. Can't see that.
Mr. Bump gets through. He is not lead though.
Making it look good, but not getting lead for that one.
Good opportunity for Sydney to come back with points here.
Yep, 2 minutes of hell for the Jammers. Oh, we have a lead. Okay.
Oh, that was interesting.
Now we have lead.
Mr. Bump is lead.
Copter standing in the bin, ready to come back out. Both
Mr.
Bump
Bump.
and Regan, they're very similar skaters. They love
They
to dance up
are.
those lines, don't they?
They do. They're very small. I feel like they can get away with it sometimes. There's if there is a little bit of a gap there. Copter trying to get through. He's still on
Look
initial.
at that. That would have been beautiful. Still look good. Being recycled to the back. It's the jam of life, isn't it? A little bit of forward, a little bit of back, a little bit of side to side. Copter getting lots of hugs from the Sydney tripod at the front there.
Mr. Bump still stuck at the back of the pack. Copter gets through. There looks to be a multiplayer for Sydney. I saw a few arms there being linked.
Very inappropriate.
Mr. Bump gets through for 4 points, calls off the jam. Successful jam for Sydney. 14 points for
14
Sydney.
points up there for Smash. Oh, 15. Sneaky.
There is a team timeout here right now. Oh, no, it's an officials timeout. Both teams are making the officials work very hard in this game.
Yeah, the bin has been busy. Has Ash Page returned to the bench?
I see
I
him.
think he is, yes. Good to see.
Are they talking about another foul out?
Could be strategy.
There's always a sizzle. Not today.
Sizzle for shizzle.
I tried hemp chips just before. For the first time.
They were tinged with wasabi.
They were very nice.
I do love a wasabi pea. Bit of wasabi pea and beer.
George W. Douche, just out of the pack, is not lead. Deckham looking to score points. Takes the outside. Gets shut down by a commando roll. Oh, no. No, that's not. Number 8.
Tomahawk.
Tomahawk.
He was quite proud of himself there. It was good work. Good work. He's probably going to have to go, yep, straight back on the track again. No rest for these guys. Love this old school derby. Oh, everyone's the pivot line.
They love the pivot line
What's
this
with the pivot
weekend.
line? Jimmy doing, I thought we were going to see some old school.
Oh, Mr. Bump through on the outside.
Nice work. Sydney not being able to hold on to Deckham there. But let's
Mr. Bump taking that outside.
penalties
gets
being
knocked out.
called on 2 of the Sydney skaters. That doesn't help Mr. Bump at all. Mr. Bump calling it off. Ooh, look at this instant replay. Thanks, Junkyard Jux. Look at that. Half the Sydney team just leaving the track. Just give us a sec, we'll come back. Nice replay action. Love that. More sports when you can't watch sports. Yep. That sounds like someone's having a timeout. Official timeout, perhaps? Not seeing a call. Maybe somebody's fouled out. No. Icky in the bin?
Icky is
reporting to the bin?
going to the bin.
Yep. Okay, I think there might have been a bit of confusion as to who was sent off for that last penalty.
Pack advantage for Carnage against 2 Sydney blockers here. Is that Mr. Bump? Yes.
Yep.
Against Deckham.
Bump and Deckham.
Deckham taking that outside. Gets stopped by Jim Peckable, number 77. Rebel Base.
Rebel
Managed
Base
to get
Jimmy
through.
just hanging on to him. Jim always just really wanting to give it a go for the last 20 feet. More penalties. There goes Rebel Base.
Carnage not letting Sydney get any more points on that board.
2 Sydney skaters standing, ready to leave the bin. 1 sitting. Who is going to be on the track? Just Jimmy. Just Jimmy. No pressure, Jim.
Hashtag Jim is helping.
Jim is always helping. I don't know if we'll see some jammer on jammer from George W. there. Strategic chat time.
No doubt both benches are talking about calming the lineups out there. It's very, very messy this second half. Less than 10 minutes to go in the second half here. Smash on 137, Carnage on 202.
We've got a lot of points and a lot of penalties.
Very fast game out there, I think.
It's good to have everyone here for the men's derby. They're all got a few skaters still sitting on the sidelines.
Everyone seems to be back on track.
We may even have more stripes and NSOs and skaters at the moment.
It feels as though that's the thing. Oh, poor Jim Peckable.
Minimalist derby from Sydney.
He will help. He's good at helping.
We have evidence, photographic evidence.
Impeccable. 1-on-1 against Copter. Unsuccessful.
And here comes Ash Page, straight, fresh out of the bin after his long rest there. Throwing in some O.
Great O from Ash Page, number 11, Sydney. George W. Douche getting through on the outside. Copter on his scoring pass.
Ash Page on the Copter. Oh, what did he score there?
Feel that was 3 points to 0.
Yep. Update on the bin, because that's where the action seems to be happening as well. Sydney skater in, Sydney skater standing.
Got David Deckham up against Mr. Bump. Pack advantage to Carnage with 4 blockers on the track versus Sydney 2. But Sydney get lead. Go Mr. Bump, loving that inside line.
Sydney doing well with the 2 skaters holding back David Deckham there.
Mr. Bump on his scoring pass, takes
Taking
the outside
advantage,
line.
dancing up the outside line.
Beautiful. Oh, there was a bit of a goat party there.
Goat party.
Goat party with David.
It's never a party for the goat. Everyone just throwing it at David Deckham and Mr. Bump.
Just pirouettes and jumps at
Going
the
to
same
take
time.
on the jammer.
Beautiful jam from Sydney City Smash. It's 10 points to 0.
Junkyard Jerks. Instant action replay. It's just, look at these little twinkle toes. Look at them go.
His footwork is absolutely amazing. Untouched on the outside line there.
Just how Jammer loves it. Sydney, 3 blockers on the track.
Massive suck back from both defence. Both jams stuck at the back of the pack. Turn.
Not sure if Sydney's a blocker short there because there's no one in the bin for them.
David Deckham manages to get through that Sydney wall. Regan tries the outside line, unsuccessful. Gets recycled by a Copter.
Going stealth, sneaking up the outside. Deckham following him through.
Ash Page.
Running to a wall of Ash Page.
One of the newer skaters, Sydney City Smash, is number 88. Oh, is it?
Knuckles.
No, Knuckles.
Carney's just sneaking 4 out of that jam. Look who's up again. David Deckham. George W. It's the George W. It's the douche and the Deckham.
Deckham trying really hard against
George
that
W sneaking
wall.
through. Full lead. See if George can score and call. Score and call.
2 to go.
Deckham was scoring there as well. 2-2. 3-3.
Junkyard Jerks, instant replay.
Carnage blocker in the in the bin.
It seems to be a little bit less full in the past 5 minutes.
Yeah. Things have calmed down. They did come out all guns a-blazing at the start of this half.
Looks like a timeout to Sydney City Smash.
Looks like just over 5 minutes to go.
Current score 150 to Sydney City Smash versus 212 for Capital Carnage.
Well, Sydney putting on some moves there.
I like that.
It's always time for a dance break, right?
Always. Got David Deckham again up against Regan, number 5 from Sydney.
I wonder if anyone is penalty free in this game. That could be the statistic of the match. Who didn't get one?
Another pivot line start. Or is it? No.
Nope, scared of it again. No, get away from it.
A little bit of a stack there from Jim Peckle. No, that was Knuckles.
Oh, look at that, Regan. Thank you very much.
Very strategic jam start from Sydney, getting Regan out pretty
Lead.
much straight away.
Oop. There goes fun
Regan
times in the bin again.
Finds
Regan
that inside line.
scoring and calling.
Beautiful jam from Sydney.
That's all you have to do. That's
Just
Super
that.
Derby. That's it. Yep. Instant replay. Just dancing up the inside line again. Yeah, there's that sound. Love that sound. The velo grind.
Oh, look who's jamming again. It's Copter versus Mr. Bump.
And look in the bin. We got 2 Sydney pivots. Nope. One's in, one's out. I'm hoping that's not a foul out. Tomahawk just casually skating away. Maybe he has fouled
I
out.
feel like he's fouled out.
Goodness. It's a very busy day in the bin.
Another strategic move
Oh.
from Sydney, getting Mr. Bump straight out. Copter's
Copter's all over him.
front. I feel like Copter followed his line through too.
That's cheating.
Need to close the gap, boys.
Let's go, Sydney. Getting some points. Everyone's getting some points. Points for everyone. Jimmy's helping, as you can see. Here he comes. Bump don't need help.
It's 4-4 so far on their second
They're
scoring
gonna call
pass.
No, they're going to hold on to Copter.
Can Mr. Bump get through? And
That
he
is
gets
beautiful
through.
work.
Jumps
And
the
calling it.
straight. Another 4 points
I
for
think we
Sydney.
might just get an instant replay of that. That was fancy.
Jumping
Dodge,
the
dodge.
straight. That is amazing footwork from Mr. Bump.
Love it. Those little blue boots.
Just make it look so easy.
It is, really. So simple. Everything they're doing here, anyone can do it. Who needs training?
Less than 4 minutes in the second half here. Carnage on 218 versus Smash 162.
Is it about the points, though, or the entertainment value?
This game has been amazing. Just all
Just
over
good
the shop.
times, good times.
Yeah.
Tomahawk definitely de-gearing. Taking off the gear. It's really not a smelly miss as the teams after a bout. We might be hearing from Game Over about this one after a zebra huddle.
Both teams are regrouping. I'm just looking at the Smash team versus Carnage, and
A lot more of them.
there's not a lot of Carnage over there.
Black called an official review to review a potential out-of-bounds block on the pink jammer. Upon review, no call stands. Black lose their review.
There you have it, folks. Always worth a try. Regan, he hasn't been doing his run-up as much this game. He did a lot of run-ups yesterday.
This is quite the run-up.
It is.
That has to be timed well.
It does. So Regan jamming against David Deckham.
There he goes.
242 Commando are looking to do some 04, Regan.
Deckham, though, patiently taking the outside line.
Regan's still hot on his heels.
Sydney blocker to the bin.
David Deckham just slides through on the inside line, untouched. Calls for a cheeky 4 points. It has been less penalty heavy this the second half of the second half.
Which is good to see. We like to see skaters on the track.
Three minutes left on the clock here.
And it's Deckham again.
George W. Douche jamming for Sydney. Deckham takes that outside line.
Beautiful work.
Pirouettes. Gets through as lead.
He's doing so well for his team today.
He is.
Not only getting the lead, but making it look pretty too.
Calls the jam before Sydney can get any points.
Getting Jim's point there also took the 2 in the bin.
Nice work from David Deckham of Carnage.
Deckham just deciding I might just block this one.
Passes the starter to Copter.
Copter, yep. Deckham don't need to sit down. Regan and Copter. That's it, Regan. Get lower than Copter. Stay away from them shoulders.
Copter getting pushed to the inside.
Physical game again. Copter through. Winning that battle.
Regan tiptoes on the inside line to get through on his initial pass. Copter coming up on his scoring pass, takes the outside.
Icky
is
left the bin.
untouched.
Icky back in the bin.
Less than 2 minutes to go
Lots
in
of
this
a-
half.
Lots of panty swapping going on out there.
There is.
Who's who? What are we doing?
Carnage.
We got their Bump and Deckham.
We do. Carnage don't have a lot of options of skaters at the moment, so
Yeah,
we're just
Deckham
doubling
not
up.
really having a break.
Mr. Bump through.
I think it's Mr. Bump.
Deckham against Ash Page
It's really never a fun time, is it?
and
Oh.
Knuckles.
And yeah, we might have had a low block there.
Ah.
No, forearm.
Forearms.
And Ash is off as well because he did just come back from the bin.
Power jam for
Let's
Sydney.
Get some O in there, boys. No, calling it off.
This will be a power jam start for Sydney.
A blocker down, but a power jam.
30 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, you can have one more, Commando. Commando asks
This
and
will,
receives.
this will be the last jam of the tournament.
We've got Regan up. Jim pivoting, because that's where Jim helps best. Regan, very casual there.
Very casual.
Icky
Just coming up to
smashing it in
Copter.
for them. Jimmy smashing it in for them.
Nice O by Icky.
Regan ducking and weaving. Really just got to push them. Push them.
Regan
Push
pushing
them,
up a
push them.
massive 2-wall. Carnage 2-wall.
And he's lead. Well done.
Nice work, Regan.
Sydney back on D. Can they hold back the D? Deckham. Deckham's just real sneaky in his way through there.
Regan takes the outside. Puts another 4 points on the board for Sydney.
Carnage about to score. Sydney on their way back in to score.
David Deckham up against Rampage.
Being held back by Rampage. As he does so well.
Regan taking that inside line.
Thanks for the 5.
That is the sweet spot on the track for all jammers.
Yeah. Deckham, yep, just pulling back so he could just jump that inside line.
Regan through again for another 5 points.
Deckham understandably looking a little tired, but he is still skating hard.
Pekka knocking Deckham out.
Regan just having to push them all on his own there.
Deckham just getting recycled and recycled again.
There he goes.
Soul-crushing.
Oh. Nice work, Regan. Oh, no, he did get a cut for that. Very hard to see. Must have been on the inside line there.
This jam will go for the whole 2 minutes. I feel it is almost over, though. Deckham getting through, scoring 4 points, 5 points for Carnage.
Yep, counting down the last few seconds here. Deckham is done. Well done, Deckham.
Nice job.
Claps and hugs. No love lost here. It's always a good matchup.
I love watching Carnage and Smash play. They're usually quite...
Old school rivalry.
Yeah. Is that the official score?
We'll have to check out the penalty board at some point. There's your official whistle. And your official score there, yep, 237 to Smash 185. So many points.
Well, thank you all for watching at home. I'm Copperphilia.
And I'm Bitchy, and we're going for snacks now.
We are, and then you're watching on Down Under Derby TV on Twitch. Thank you, FTP, for organising coverage this weekend. We'd like to thank all the officials and everybody else that has helped out, all the players, of course, everybody that are here to make Derby possible. We love you all, and we will see you next time on Down Under Derby TV.
Just before we go, Derby fans, Flat Track Protocol here. Just wanted to say a few thanks myself. Firstly, massive thanks to Sydney City Smash Men's Derby Inc. For having Down Under Derby here. It's kind of me becoming a member of Smash. That's got nothing to do with it. No, actually, it's got a lot to do with it. I want to thank my commentators, the voice of MRDADU18, Copperphilia, who commentated almost every single game this weekend. Marathon effort for her first weekend commentating. Huge thank you, Cop. Commando, Sasha, Bitchy and Icy all commentating. We had Stephen, Pris, VCAT, Zoe, and G on cameras over the weekend. I think I'm forgetting one, but thank you all for your camera work. We had Purple and myself switching on and off various games when Purple wasn't NSOing or refereeing yesterday. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to all of our viewers. We will be continuing coverage on Twitch in future, so live stuff will go out on Twitch. Our archives will still go up on YouTube. Today was a much better day data-wise. We're upstairs at the Velo with only glass between us and the outside world. So that worked too. So glad we could bring it all out to you live today. That's everything from the Velodrama. Thank you on behalf of Smash for watching. Thank you to all of the teams who came, and thank you to everybody. This is Flat Track Protocol. You're watching Down Under Derby TV on Twitch.